Hello, I'm here in the studio today with Michelle Gemmel. How are you today, Michelle?
I'm fine, Fiona. How are you?
I'm okay, thank you. Now, for our listeners, can you just tell us a little bit about your background, where you studied and what you do?
I studied art and design at A level, and after I left school, I did a art foundation at the Cumbria College of Art and Design, and that was for a year, and I sort of specialised in textiles there. And then I went to university at York St John, and I specialised in printed textiles. When I graduated, I applied for loads of different jobs and, design jobs and wearing swimwear for a large import company in Leeds. So I did that for a number of years, and then I moved to various companies doing that kind of thing, and I really wanted a change and a bit, to add a bit more diversity to my portfolio. So I got a position as a houseware designer, designing homeware products, and that was really interesting because that gave me like a different areas that I could design in. So I did that for a year or two, and I decided after that I wanted to go freelance and do my own thing because I've always had this desire in me to be a greeting card designer. I just always have. But I find when you do other areas, you tend to get pigeonholed. So from there, I just thought, I'm going to do it. I'm going to set up my own brand and do freelance on the side to help pay for it. And that was it, really. I sort of built Memelou up and then do the freelance on the side to sort of help grow and pay for Memelou.
Tell us a bit about the vision of Memelou.
Memelou, I always wanted it to be a fun brand because I'm quite a fun, happy person. So I wanted Memelou to reflect my personality. And I love receiving greeting cards in post. I get really excited when I get one. And I wanted my cards to somebody gets them, they open them up and they're like, oh, this is so amazing. It makes me really happy. That's the aim. I want everyone to feel happy when they look at my designs. And when they look at the Memelou name, I want them to feel happy. And I just want I want it to grow from greeting cards into other product areas. So, you don't just get cards, you can get wall stickers, we can create things into books and things like that. I want it to grow as a brand itself.
And what do you love about designing?
Designing for me is a bit like therapy. I find when I design, I just feel so at ease and so happy and so at peace. I like being able to express myself, design my own way, and I just feel like it's a real creative outlet for me. I don't like doing anything else but designing. That is just what I do in all my free time. It's one of my hobbies. It's my everyday life. I love everything about design.
Do you think every artist has a bit of Peter Pan inside of them?
I definitely do. I don't really live in the real world anyway. I live in a fantasy, playful kind of world, and I have to really tune into my inner child for my designs because they are quite fun, and a lot of them are quite childlike.
Can you describe some of the worlds that you've created?
I kind of design on what I see. So if I'm in the garden, for example, and I could be doing something simple like, I don't know, planting some flowers or something, and then start to think, oh, I wonder if fairies live here or, gnomes, and that's one of my ranges I created. It was a range called Gardenia, and that was based on the life that could happen inside your garden, what little magical creatures could live in there and what animals would live in there, and that was quite a nice fantasy world within your garden. Another range I've done is called Yummy, and that is a summer range, and that was purely because one day I was out. I went to a summer fair in my local town, and there was just so many nice things going on with people having picnics, eating candy floss, eating ice creams, based on something like that is sort of the epitome of summer. So there's that range. I've done a range on my website which is by myself, my own name, Michelle Gemmel, which was a magical forest range. A fox and a prince being unlikely friends, but living in an enchanted forest, and they go on adventures and meet other animals which are also enchanted, and it kind of follows their stories through there. I've got Très Chic, which is a French range, which is kind of a lifestyle range, which is fun and friendly, but a bit stylish, a bit more grown up than the other ranges perhaps, and that's based on a French couple, and it sort of goes through their lives, their everyday life, shopping, having children, getting married, and there's other little characters that pop off there.
Have you ever thought of doing any books with your ranges?
I'd love to do storybooks with the ranges. I think quite a lot of them could work really well as stories, particularly the fantasy range, because that's aimed at children, and there's loads of different characters in that. There's like a spaceman, and there's a unicorn and a mermaid and monsters, so they could all have like their own little individual stories. And then in the Michelle Gemmel range, there's the Unlikely Friends, which is the fox and the rabbit, and I think that would be a really lovely story because it could be an inspiring story about the unlikeliest of friendships working and about adventures, things like that. So I think those two potentially could be really, really good ones. But I think all the ranges would lend themselves to stories, definitely.
No, I can definitely see the Unlikely Friends as being a nice story range. What inspires you?
I'm really inspired by just things that I see every day. So, like I said earlier, I could just be out in the garden and think, oh, I'm inspired by what I've seen in the garden. Or I go to Austria quite a lot because my husband's family live out there, and I'm really inspired by the Scandinavian look. And I love that sort of simplicity look to design. And I'm not really wanting into really pretty, really fussy details. I like really clean, simple design. And I think Scandinavian design, that really, or the folk look, that's really quite simple, and I really, really like that whole simplicity look, really.
I'd love to see some of your designs as wall murals and things like that, and stickers like you can get for children's bedrooms. I think you could create such beautiful scenes. Are you ever going to do anything like that coming forward?
Yeah, definitely. I think once the cards are really coming into their own, and like they're becoming favourites, we definitely pick favourite ones to become, like you say, wall stickers and things like that. And yeah, I think that would look really, really nice.
And wallpaper. I can see you going into wallpaper.
That's it. I think we'd like to do everything we possibly could with Memelou. We would love to do.
Tell me about your own brand.
My own brand. Well, I've always been a freelance designer, so I wanted to create or show the people that I've worked with how I've progressed as a freelancer, and I thought it'd be quite nice to put it under the Memelou brand, so the people that perhaps will go to the Memelou website can also see that side of me. So yes, that's really what that's all about.
Describe a little bit about your process and what tools you use to design with.
Usually, I tend to get all my really good ideas at night time for some reason. So I keep a little sketch pad beside my bed, and then I'll do like little sketches of ideas that come into my head. And I always carry a sketchbook with me everywhere I go. So if I do get inspired by anything I see or whatever, I'll make a note or I'll do a little sketch, and then I'll take that home and I'll scan the image in, and I'll put it around. I'll put it around like my art board, and then start drawing away in the computer. Sometimes if I've got like an idea, I'll create a Pinterest board, various things to sort of inspire me, and then I'll work from that, and I'll draw. I draw everything in Illustrator, and then if I want to add any texture to it, I'll transfer it into Photoshop, or I'll like do a rough texture and scan it in and that type of thing, and do that basically. So that's how because I like the look of Illustrator. I think it's really clean, so that's why I tend to work in there more than I do Photoshop.
Have you got any shows coming up?
Yes, we have. We are doing Progressive Greetings in May, and we are doing the Home and Gift in Harrogate in July.
Fantastic. It's been lovely talking to you. Good luck with the shows, and I'm sure we'll speak to you soon.
Thank you, Fiona. Bye-bye.
Bye. If you would like to know more about the designer Michelle Gemmel and see her ranges and her prints online, please go to www.memelou.com. Thank you for listening.